The history of the United States is a story of progress, often forged in the fires of struggle and resilience. At the heart of this narrative lies the American labor movement, a testament to the collective power of working people demanding dignity and fairness. From the sweat-soaked factories of the Industrial Revolution to the digital platforms of the gig economy, the fight for workers' rights has shaped our nation. The labor movement's journey is etched with both remarkable victories and bitter defeats. Through it all, one constant remains: the unwavering belief that when workers stand together, they possess the power to challenge injustice. This collective spirit has secured safer working conditions, fairer wages, and fundamental rights. The story of American labor is not confined to dusty history books. It is a living narrative that continues to unfold today as new generations grapple with the challenges and opportunities of a rapidly evolving economic landscape. The seeds of the American labor movement were sown in the late 18th century, as the Industrial Revolution began to transform the nation from an agrarian society into an industrial powerhouse. Small workshops gave way to massive factories, and skilled artisans found themselves replaced by machines and unskilled laborers. This shift brought about unprecedented economic growth, but it also created a new class of workers, impoverished, powerless, and vulnerable to exploitation. In the early factories, working conditions were often deplorable. Long hours, low wages, and hazardous environments were the norm. Children, some as young as 5 years old, toiled alongside adults in dangerous conditions. Workers had little recourse against unfair treatment, as they lacked legal protections or any form of collective bargaining power. Amid these harsh realities, the idea of collective action began to take root. Workers, recognizing their shared plight, started to organize into small, localized groups to advocate for better treatment. These early unions, often clandestine and short-lived, faced fierce opposition from employers who viewed them as a threat to their authority and profits. Despite the challenges, the labor movement gained momentum in the decades following the Civil War. The rapid expansion of railroads, mining, and manufacturing created a growing industrial workforce concentrated in factories and cities. This concentration facilitated communication and organization among workers, paving the way for the emergence of national labor organizations that would play a pivotal role in shaping the American workplace. The late 19th and early 20th centuries were marked by intense labor unrest as workers fought for recognition, fair wages, and improved working conditions. Employers, often backed by the government, responded with intimidation, violence, and legal maneuvering to suppress union activity. Strikes were routinely broken up by police or private security forces, and union leaders were blacklisted or imprisoned. The Homestead Strike of 1892 was a notorious example of this conflict. Carnegie Steel hired Pinkerton detectives to break the strike, leading to a violent confrontation. The strike was crushed, dealing a blow to the labor movement. Despite setbacks, the spirit of organized labor persisted. Workers continued to organize, forming new unions and engaging in strikes and protests. The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire of 1911, which claimed 146 lives, shocked the nation and galvanized public support for labor reform. The tragedy led to landmark legislation in New York State that improved factory safety standards and limited working hours for women and children. Despite facing immense opposition, the American labor movement began to achieve significant victories in the early 20th century. The National Labor Relations Act of 1935, also known as the Wagner Act, marked a turning point in labor relations. This landmark legislation guaranteed workers the right to organize unions, bargain collectively with employers, and engage in strikes without fear of retaliation. Emboldened by these new protections, unions grew rapidly in membership and influence. The Congress of Industrial Organizations, founded in 1935, organized millions of industrial workers in mass production industries, such as automobile, steel, and rubber. The CIO's strategy of industry-wide organizing proved highly effective, leading to significant gains for workers in wages, benefits, and working conditions. The labor movement's successes during this era extended beyond the workplace. Unions played a pivotal role in advocating for social welfare programs that benefited all Americans, such as Social Security, unemployment insurance, and the minimum wage. These programs, established during the New Deal era, helped to create a safety net for working families and contributed to the growth of the middle class.